Good morning, Candy. I'm on a couple minutes early. I'm going to wait till 7:45 to start my stream, actually, but I wanted to make sure all of my little electronic things were uh, sorted out. And I had a fussy cutting thing I needed to do, so I thought I would just accomplish that before everybody come over here. Hi, Lori. Um, Hi, Brittany. I have to go make sure I have a couple of things settled out here. Yep. Okay, so that's all right. And is the camera behaving? I hope so. Yep. Okay. Hi, Arlene and Brenda and Brittany and Melissa and Meri. Hi, Meri. The bus has arrived. Hi, Suzanne. Okay. Well, the bus has arrived. All right. I'm going to wait till my computer says 7:45 and then I'll start. Um, Hi, Bootsy. Hi, Arlene. And then forgive me if I don't catch everybody in chat because I have some. Hi, Tina. Welcome. I have several things I want to show, and so I have a lot I want to show. Okay, it is 7:45 on my computer. So one of the first things is that we do travel. We travel by RV, so I can take. Hi, Deb. I can take blanket hellos to everybody. Things with me. Now I can't take everything with me, but I can take a lot of things. This is a project I started, and I still work on this as we go. This is the research book I've been doing for the national parks. And when I find something new, I've been putting it in. Basically, I have the states, the lists and I've been working to find where all the national parks are. Because believe it or not, they're not marked on a lot of maps. And when we're traveling across the country, we might miss something. There was a park near Santa Fe we didn't even know was there. So this is kind of on the order of the Society of Idea Collectors. It is just devoted to the national parks and national monuments, which I've learned an awful lot of things that I did not know. The National Park Service handles national parks, national monuments, national reserves, national historic parks, national lake shores and seashores. I mean, there's a whole list of things, but this is not all because the national forests are not handled by the national parks. And then there's Bureau of Land Management places that are not in the national park system. So this is just the beginnings of my research for the places that we want to go to see. Alabat's Flint Quarries National Monument is near where Lisa lives, and we actually got to go and see that, which was very interesting. So that was, and if I hadn't have done the research on Texas, I wouldn't have known those were up there near where we were going to be. So that is one of the things I do for our trips. I try to research the states we're going to be in. Believe me, I didn't get enough research done. Then another thing I do, and that book was actually supposed to fit into this book, but there's so much stuff in this book now that it doesn't fit. This has some similar information, but this is actually sort of a record of the parks that we have been to and the states that we have visited in our trips. And I actually put the National Park System has this thing called passports, and you can get, when you go to the visitor center, you can actually get passport stamps. They actually have a little passport you can buy, but I don't really care about that. I really wanted it more for my book. So I usually, when we visit one of the national parks, I collect the brochures, things like that of interesting things that we have done in that area, and I put it in here. Plus, I usually journal about our day a little bit. I purchase things at the park bookstores. It helps the parks, and I have been collecting their stickers and a few other things besides the passport stamps. So this is another sort of record or journal, but this is more about the national parks and national monuments that we have visited. Okay, this is a national forest one. Oops, you can't see it. Sorry about that. This is a national forest one. We spent the day driving forest roads, back roads, little trails, jeep trails, and this was in the San Juan National Forest. So there's not visitor centers usually for those places. Plus, this particular trip, a lot of the visitor centers were closed. So this is just sort of a little collection of memorabilia for me. A lot of times I put the bag in that has all of my little brochures and stuff, and little notes to myself about the day. Honestly, this is growing so fast that I'm probably going to have to take out part of the pages, because all of the stuff that's in it is just too big. Now, these little strings are for something I haven't gotten to yet, and I'll show you those. I also collect the parks have these little things called tokens. Now, they didn't in the past, but they used to have pressed pennies, and I collect pressed pennies everywhere we go. Now they have these tokens, and my plan is to use these tokens the same way I use the pressed pennies, and that, yeah, fat journals, Mary, and that is to punch them and use them for on my strings. I'm going to use them for a journal jewelry. The parks now are selling their pressed pennies. You have to buy them. So after I put the pressed penny on the journal, I'll probably put these tags inside the journal as well. Bye, Arlene. I will show you then. Those two things are kind of about the national parks and the national forests. But then every trip so far, now we've only taken two trips. But since I started doing this, I send my mother a postcard every day. Now, if you didn't have your mom to send it to, and she couldn't save it for you, or you couldn't send them to somebody that would save them for you, you can send them to yourself. But this is a book I made with our fall 2019 trip, and this is a postcard book of postcards that I sent to my mother every single day. This is what I'm talking about, journal jewelry. I'll be putting the pressed pennies, and I have pennies for my postcard book, plus pennies and other things for my National Park journal. So I will have jewelry for both of them. What I really wanted to show you today is some of the things and how I do the postcards, because there are days when we don't do anything that's really fun. This was Route 66 RV Ranch. Okay, this was actually while we were in Amarillo, and we rested, had dinner, and then my friend Lisa and her hubby came to visit. So this was the day we got to Amarillo. I suppose you could, Angie, buy postcards and keep them safe with instead of saving on the stamps, but I send them to my mom, so she gets to enjoy these. Now this postcard is one I made. This one is one that the park gave me. It's advertising postcard. On days when we just drive and park, that's it. Okay, this was on the way in Mississippi. We had to spend a night. This was our spot in the campground. This is actually made from, okay, the background is the little map that the campground gave us. This is a little state die cut that I have a set of state die cuts. This came out of a license plate book. And I just and it's actually written on where they gave it to McGuire. This was a store-bought postcard. This is a store-bought postcard. This is some of my eco-dyed paper, a couple of images, and it's an Amarillo postcard because it's while we were in Amarillo. This is a store one. This is a day we traveled. Okay, I took the map. I drew on this road. This happens to be the day we went over a pass that we weren't prepared for. We weren't prepared for 3,000 feet of elevation in 6 miles. It was switchbacks. It was awful. It was scary. And I took a red marker and drew our route on the map. And then I just had this travel from something else. I'm going to show you some of that in just a minute. This is the day we went to the fish hatchery. This fish sticker is a sticker, and that's a picture of the area. So depending upon where we're at, depends on, this is a, Hovenweep did not have any store-bought postcards. Their bookstore was closed, so I had to build my own Canyons of the Ancients postcard. This is another one this is from the Flint's Quarry, and they didn't have a bookstore. They didn't have postcards, so I took the quarry brochure, and in most places you can find these brochures. Like this is Canyonlands brochure. Now, Canyonlands had bookstores, so it was, something I didn't have to build a one for that particular day. Mesa Verde had a bookstore. Pecos was another place that did not have things. Okay, this is a day we spent in Red Bay, Alabama, and we did a little of nothing. So this was we went out to eat. So we went out to eat at Hometown Pizza, which is, I cut from a different brochure. I cut this Belmont thing out from one of the brochures, and the pizza place. So this is a day we, let's see, we ate at Houston's on Main. We went to visit a motorhome dealer or two. This is a day we went thrift store shopping, and it has all the thrift stores, and it's got different ones all over there. So these postcards are just made from, a lot of times, from whatever I happen to have. Mine Shaft Tavern. Okay, this is the day we went to Madrid, and they didn't have a postcard, so I had to make one. Okay, so now let's oh, I sometimes draw little things. I was going to look for, now see, this is from Canyonlands, and that's one I purchased, and arches. This is another campground map. That was our view from the campground. Okay, Fantasy Canyon. I think I actually have that brochure. Well, maybe not. Yep, okay. So this Fantasy Canyon, there's no postcards available. So what I did was, this is a BLM brochure. I cut out part of the map. I cut out one of the pictures, and I cut out a piece of information from the brochure. So I use the brochures to make things, and sometimes I have to really, oh, this is when we went across Wyoming and Nebraska. We were driving. Oh, this was a day we spent visiting my son. So I took my stamp pads and put Brandon's name on it. I was looking for, I actually drew one. Okay, this was a Mother's Day one that I sent on my, it was Mother's Day. This is one I drew while we were sitting on the farm in Iowa. So it depends on where we're at, what I do. There's another campground map. This is our, oh no, this isn't the campground map. That's the service center. That's why we sat for 2 weeks in Red Bay to get service on our RV. That's the bay we went into to get our service. So it just, you know, whatever we're doing, we went to Florence one day. Okay, this is one picture out of their brochure. This is another picture, a third picture, and a thing on top. So I was just, okay, so that's some of the ideas for the postcards. And of course, I'm going to turn these all into a book. When I get a chance, I'm going to turn all of this into a book. But this is some of the things I wanted to show you that I take with me. I always have my pre-made 4x6 heavy cardstock. As heavy as I've got, the best I've got cardstock. I keep this big bag. Actually, this bag was full when we left because, needless to say, I made this many postcards. I haven't checked to see if they've all come. But then every place you travel, there's all kinds of things that you get that you can pick up. Now, obviously, there's maps. That's a map too. There are the little brochures that you get. We always go to the travel center. Yes, Mary, thank you. Thumbs up would be great. The travel centers are fabulous for information. And so we always stop. We were in Taos. I picked up this gallery guide. Now, I did not use anything out of it. And I'm very careful to make sure I cut things up. I don't just pull it out. These are extra little pictures. These are the National Park books. This is from Arches. I actually cut something out of it. I have no idea what. This is a insider's guide. We use these. These are things I pick up because we're interested in going there. We're hello, Dust Fairies. We're interested in going there. We're interested in doing things. I don't pick things up just grabbing it. This is Shepherd of the Hills Fish Hatchery. We did not end up going there, but it was something in the area of where we were. But those are brochures and things. The thing I wanted you to think about, though, is when you're picking up stuff, don't disregard things like the paper bag stuff comes in. This is, I actually bought a postcard or something here that day. I forgot what. Now, I did get a postcard. They had a 5 and dime postcard, I think. So I didn't end up using the bag, but I could have. We had dinner one night with friends in Omaha at the Keno, at a Keno place, and I picked up a couple of the papers off the table so that I could use one of them in my postcard. I don't know what that was. That was from Branson. These are more mats. Oh, we went to the fish hatchery. I really enjoyed that. You'll get big books. You'll get little newspapers. So everything that I pick up paper-wise can be used. Sometimes in the restaurants, if we haven't done much and I'm going to need to use the restaurant one, I will pick up a business card. I didn't think to put one on the table, but business cards you need to peel. Let me show you if I can think about one. They are too thick when you put them on. And there's been several things I have. Okay, here's one. This was from Omaha. One of the days we spent in Omaha, and this was an RV store, camping dealership. This is a camping dealership, and this is our friend's bead store. And we actually did some goofing off that day. We were waiting for. You bought a fly killer. That's cool, Angie. We're looking at the possibility of trading our RV. This one's a little big. We found out. It's one of those things you find out when you get to travel. Anyways, so these are all 3 business cards. So what I do is I very carefully peel the business card apart to use it on my card. So that's something you need to consider. Now, let's see, I've got about 10 minutes or less. So what I was going to do today is show you how I very quickly make one of these postcards. This is a piece of map. Happens to be from Wyoming. We came across, that's 80. Yeah, we came across 80 in Wyoming. And this is going to be the front cover of my little book. And guys, their RV is huge and grows. Yes, Mary. And one of the problems when it was growing was that one of the slides decided it wasn't going to grow while we were on our trip. But yes, it grows. It grows very large when you open that all up. It's as big as a New York apartment when it's all open. I always tell people. And the thing of it is that we just don't need that much space. When we lived in our old one, the one we got in a wreck in, we needed it, but now we don't need that. So, all right. So I have a piece of a map. We're going to hope that I cut it, I drew on it straight, because I don't have but just a few minutes. I do take Mod Podge with me. I Mod Podge all of these because I'm sending them in the mail. If you weren't going to send them in the mail, if you were just going to make them for yourself, then you wouldn't need to Mod Podge them so much. And I use a mixture, guys, of Mod Podge and glue. Oh, that's the full one. And I'm sorry, guys, that I'm not reading chat very well today. This is always a time when it's hard to read chat. But I just put this on. Okay. Now, I have this little rubber stamp. This is, thanks, Mary. This is, it's a United States of America stamp. We were in 13 states on this trip with about 4,000 miles. And I picked up this brochure. We have a lifetime pass for the national parks and monuments, but we're talking about getting a second one so that we have them in both vehicles. We don't have to worry about it forgetting it one time or something. So I liked this that says America the Beautiful. So basically my postcards are, a lot of them are collages. That is, now I'll have to go back and get that. It's not quite stuck. Okay. And then, because this particular trip we took in the spring of 2021, I made different sizes of this. On my other book, I happened to have something that said fall. And I found a calendar that said 2019. So that is how I got my wording. This one, I realized last night that I needed it to say spring, and I didn't have time to hunt. Okay. So now we have to decide how we're going to put this on here. Okay, and I have to remember that my holes are going to go over there, so I have to think about this. Also, when I buy or make postcards, I buy them so that they're all horizontal. So that is another big thing that you have to kind of watch for. Because when you put them in your book, if they're vertical, they don't fit very well. Oh, and I colored the states on this with ink tints. That's, you could have I could have colored it with just about anything that was permanent. But that's one of the things you need to think about when you're Mod Podging things, is that it's going to get covered up with something liquid. And basically, unless I've bought one for that day, I sit down every evening and do this, you know, before bed. And then I usually write it out in the morning and send it to Mom the next morning. I'm going to have to go over that a little bit underneath. I'll have to put some glue under it because I rushed. But that, guys, is what I do for my postcards. And like I said, I make sure that they're all that horizontal, that this kind of horizontal thing. This was another business card, and I peeled the back off of it. So this was out of some little brochure, and this is the road in Amarillo, picture of Texas. You know, I might tear up 4 or 5 brochures to get what I want. And like I said, I take very minimal stuff as far as for these goes, because I'm gathering those little things. Who's next, Mary? Yeah, postcards a day. Kathy Berg is up next, which, guys, if you look down in the description box, I put the list of channels that Meri posts and their times in the description box. Remember that there's a break in the middle of the day, and that we will go to the next channel, and then somewhere along the line we will break, and then it'll start again in the evening. So there is a list of channels down in the description box. Make sure you pop over to Kathy Berg's. And the postcard book is really fun, Jersey. I mean, even if you don't send them, now the only thing I can say is if you're not going to put, oh, one more thing, just quick. I know this is a postcard stamp. On some of the backs, I actually put that postcard stamp. Some of them I just scribble. But if you're going to write on the back of these, when you remember that you need to leave yourself room over here on this side that you're going to bind your book together with. So don't write, because I'm putting holes in this side and the address is there. So it's one of those things. It's a great way to make a little journal of your time, and it's just a little note. So thanks, guys, for being here. It's time to run over to Kathy Berg's. It's already 8:16, and I'm going to sign off. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Bye-bye.